Dear friends, seekers, and listeners on the path of awakening today, I want to speak to every soul who has felt the sting of betrayal, the pain of manipulation, and the emptiness left behind when trust is broken. Many of us have walked through moments where others have played with our emotions, taken advantage of our kindness, and misjudged our patience as weakness. We've asked ourselves, why me? Why did they do this? Why does it hurt so much? But there's a deeper truth we must all remember. Karma is real, silent, and inevitable. Life has a way of balancing its scales. The universe is not blind to what has been done to you. In the words of Buddhist wisdom, and as Shi Heng Yi often reflects, suffering is a teacher, and patience is your shield. Today, let's dive deep into the spiritual lessons behind the phrase, "They played you, but now karma is playing them." In the vast web of existence, nothing happens without a reason. Buddhism teaches us that everything in life follows a pattern, a cycle of action and consequence. This is the eternal and unchangeable law of cause and effect, often referred to as karma. It is not a human-made rule, nor is it something that can be manipulated or avoided. It's a universal law, like gravity, silent, invisible, but always at work. When someone wrongs you, when they deceive you, when they manipulate your trust and take advantage of your kindness, they are making a choice. With every choice comes a consequence. The universe is recording their actions, not with judgment or anger, but with balance. Karma is not revenge. It's not fueled by emotion. It's a natural process that ensures balance is restored in the cycle of life. Every lie they told you, every false promise, every time they mocked your feelings or dismissed your worth, they were sending out negative energy into the universe. This energy doesn't disappear. It circles back, sometimes slowly, sometimes swiftly, but it always returns to its source. They may feel victorious in the moment, thinking they've gotten away with it, laughing behind your back, moving forward as if nothing happened. But what they don't realize is that they've already sown the seeds of their own suffering. Karma doesn't rush. It waits for the right moment. The beauty, and sometimes the cruelty, of karma is that it hits where it hurts most and when it's least expected. It could come in the form of broken relationships, lost trust from others, emotional emptiness, repeated failures, or even their own inner turmoil that keeps them awake at night. Life has countless ways of delivering karmic lessons, and each lesson is tailor-made to reflect the energy that person has put out into the world. It's important to understand that karma isn't about punishment for the sake of punishment. It's about teaching. The universe gives each person exactly what they need to learn and grow, even if the lesson is painful. People who play with others' emotions or break hearts will eventually find themselves in situations where they feel the same helplessness, confusion, and emotional chaos they once caused. Understanding this universal law allows you to step back from anger. You don't need to plot revenge or hope for their downfall. The universe is already handling it with a precision that no human could match. Every action sets a wheel in motion, and that wheel continues to turn until balance is restored. Let them laugh today, let them feel like they've won, let them walk away without remorse, because karma, patient and silent, is already following their every step, making sure that one day they will face the mirror of their own actions. When betrayal strikes, when someone plays with your heart, your trust, or your dignity, the immediate reaction is pain, deep, raw, and overwhelming pain. It feels like a storm tearing through your mind, body, and soul. You wake up with it, you go to sleep with it, you replay every conversation, every moment, asking yourself, why me? What did I do to deserve this? This phase feels endless. But here's an essential spiritual truth. Pain is not permanent, it is temporary, and most importantly, it is transformative. In Buddhism, suffering is not seen as something purely negative. It is a fundamental aspect of life known as dukkha. But this suffering serves a higher purpose. It becomes a powerful teacher, a motivator for spiritual growth and personal evolution. Every tear you shed, every sleepless night you endured, every ounce of emotional turmoil you experienced was not wasted. It was refining you. Like gold in the fire, you were being purified, strengthened, and reshaped into something more resilient. Think about it. Before this experience, maybe you overlooked your own boundaries. Maybe you gave too much without receiving enough in return. Perhaps you ignored the red flags because your heart was too pure, too eager to believe in people's goodness. But after the betrayal, after the heartbreak, you began to see things differently. Your inner voice grew louder, your intuition became sharper, your understanding of people deepened. You started realizing that not everyone deserves your energy, your time, or your kindness. This pain pushed you to ask bigger questions about yourself, your life, and your spiritual path. It may have led you towards meditation, prayer, mindfulness, or even Buddhist teachings like those of Shi Heng Yi. The storm that broke you down also became the force that woke you up. That's the paradox of suffering. It destroys illusions. It strips away false identities and relationships that were never real. It forces you to meet your true self, to sit with your raw emotions, and to heal from the inside out. And healing doesn't happen overnight. It's a journey of rediscovering your worth, setting new boundaries, and embracing your emotional scars as symbols of survival. You start to realize that those scars are not signs of weakness, but badges of growth. They tell a story of someone who loved deeply, got hurt badly, but still chose to rise. In spiritual awakening, pain often serves as the doorway. It cracks open your heart, not to break you, but to let in more light, more wisdom, and more compassion. The person you're becoming, the stronger, wiser, more spiritually aware version of yourself, would not exist without the hardship you've endured. This phase of your life was not a detour, it was a part of your higher path, preparing you for the next, more enlightened chapter. One of the most profound lessons that Buddhism, and especially teachings from spiritual masters like Shi Heng Yi, offer us is the art of non-reaction. When someone wrongs you, when they lie, betray, manipulate, or disrespect you, the natural instinct is to retaliate. The human mind screams for justice. Your ego wants revenge. Your heart wants them to feel the same pain they inflicted on you. But here's where true spiritual strength begins, in the choice to do nothing, to not react, to allow karma to do its work without your interference. Non-reaction doesn't mean you're weak. It doesn't mean you're giving them permission to hurt you again. It means you're operating from a higher frequency, from a place of awareness that understands a simple but powerful truth. Whatever energy you engage with, you amplify. If you meet their anger with more anger, their lies with more lies, or their manipulation with revenge, you're becoming entangled in their karmic web. You're making their darkness your home, and in doing so, you become part of the same negative cycle you wish to escape. Non-reaction is about reclaiming your power. It's about looking at the situation, observing your feelings with mindfulness, and making a conscious decision. I will not let this consume me. I will not let this person dictate my peace. The moment you choose silence over reaction, peace over anger, detachment over obsession, you shift the entire dynamic. You take back control. Think about how unsettling it is for someone who plays mind games, manipulates, or acts out of ego when they're met with pure silence and stillness. They expect drama. They expect a fight. They want to see you broken, crying, chasing them, or stooping to their level. Your non-reaction confuses them. It forces them to sit with their own actions. It makes them question their choices. It leaves them alone with their own conscience, which, thanks to karma, will grow heavier with time. In Buddhism, this principle is rooted in mindful awareness. Rather than reacting impulsively, you pause. You breathe, you observe the emotion without judgment, you let the anger rise, and then let it fall away like a passing cloud. Shi Heng Yi often speaks about being the observer of your thoughts, not their slave. When you react, you're a slave to your emotions. When you choose non-reaction, you're the master of them. Non-reaction is also a statement of self-respect. It shows that you value your peace more than proving a point. It demonstrates that you've outgrown the need for external validation or revenge. The greatest form of revenge, after all, is living wealth, thriving, smiling, glowing, and rising above the storm they try to drag you into. And let's not forget the most important part. The universe takes note of your restraint. Karma isn't just about punishing wrongdoers. It's also about rewarding those who choose the higher path. Every time you choose peace over conflict, healing over hatred, and non-reaction over revenge, you're accumulating positive karma for yourself. You're aligning with higher spiritual energy that will manifest as blessings, opportunities, and protection on your journey forward. One of the most profound and unavoidable truths of the universe, as reflected in Buddhist wisdom and the teachings of Shi Heng Yi, is that karma acts like a mirror. Whatever energy you project out into the world, whether it's kindness, cruelty, love, hatred, truth, or deception, inevitably comes back to you in some form. This is not a superstition, nor is it some abstract idea of punishment. It is a cosmic law, operating quietly but consistently, reflecting each person's actions back to them, so they can experience what they have caused others to feel. When someone played you, when they lied, betrayed, manipulated, or emotionally abused you, they set powerful energy in motion. Their actions weren't isolated events. They were energetic signatures sent out into the universe, and the universe, in its perfect balance, acts like a giant cosmic mirror. It reflects back to people not just what they did, but the emotional vibration they created in others. If they caused you sadness, they will experience sadness. If they made you feel worthless, they will encounter situations where they feel unappreciated and abandoned. If they left you questioning your worth, they too will face people who diminish and disregard them. Life has an intricate, intelligent way of ensuring that every person eventually tastes the emotional flavor they once served to others. The most striking part of karmic reflection is that it often appears when the person least expects it, when they feel comfortable, when they believe they've moved on, or when they think life is going in their favor. They might seem happy on the surface now, appearing as if they're untouched by what they did to you. They may flaunt their so-called victories, new relationships, or material successes, but the mirror is already in place. Their outer world may appear perfect, but internally the cracks are forming. Karma doesn't just strike through dramatic events. Often, its reflection comes in subtle, deeply emotional ways: sleepless nights, constant restlessness, sudden losses of trust in their friendships and relationships, patterns of being used, just like they once used others, feelings of isolation despite being surrounded by people. Failed projects, repeated heartbreaks. They'll start wondering why nothing feels fulfilling anymore, why people keep walking away, or why peace feels so out of reach. In Buddhism, this is seen as the universe giving them an opportunity for self-awareness and growth. Through their suffering, they will face the same emotional reality they created for others. It's not about external punishment, it's about internal awakening. The mirror forces them to confront their own reflection, the part of themselves they tried to hide, deny, or ignore. As Shi Heng Yi often teaches, we don't escape ourselves. No matter how far someone runs, how much they distract themselves, or how many false narratives they create to justify their wrongdoings, the truth always finds a way to surface, through life situations, through losses, and most of all, through their own conscience. And here's another truth about karma's mirror: the longer they avoid accountability, the stronger the reflection becomes. The universe gives subtle warnings first: a missed opportunity here, a broken friendship there. But when ignored, the lessons grow louder and more painful until there's no choice left but to face the inner darkness. So while you focus on healing, know this: they are walking toward their own reflection. They will stand in front of the very emotions they pushed onto you, and in that moment of reckoning, they will finally feel the full weight of their choices. In the aftermath of betrayal, it's natural for the mind to burn with thoughts of revenge. The anger feels justified, the hurt demands acknowledgement, and your ego craves the satisfaction of seeing them suffer the same way they made you suffer. But here's where spiritual awakening begins to show you a different path, a higher, more peaceful, and ultimately more rewarding path, the path of healing, not revenge. Buddhist teachings, especially those echoed by Shi Heng Yi, remind us that clinging to anger and bitterness is like grasping a burning coal with the intention of throwing it at someone else. You are the one who gets burned first. Every second you spend plotting their downfall, every minute you spend replaying the pain, you're feeding negativity within yourself. You're allowing their actions to continue hurting you long after they've physically left your life. True healing begins with acceptance, acceptance that they wronged you, acceptance that it hurt, acceptance that they may never apologize or acknowledge the damage they caused, and acceptance that you cannot control their karma, their journey, or their lessons. But you can control yours. Focusing on healing means shifting your energy away from them and back onto yourself. It means asking, how do I reclaim my peace? How do I rebuild my self-worth? How do I grow from this experience rather than be defined by it? Healing is a conscious decision to let go of resentment, not because they deserve forgiveness, but because you deserve freedom. Engage in practices that nurture your soul. Meditate daily to observe your thoughts without attachment. Journal your feelings so you release what's trapped inside your heart. Surround yourself with positive influences, whether it's friends, nature, spiritual teachings, or healing music. Practice mindfulness, staying present with what you're feeling, but not letting it consume you. As you heal, you'll start noticing small but powerful shifts. You'll stop checking their social media. You'll stop wondering about their life. You'll lose the urge to prove a point. You'll find moments of genuine peace and even gratitude for the lessons the pain taught you. One of the most empowering realizations during healing is understanding that moving on gracefully is its own form of revenge, a silent, dignified revenge that shows you've outgrown the situation. While they remain entangled in their karma, you'll be rising, glowing, evolving. Healing also protects your future. If you carry bitterness, it will spill into your next relationships, your friendships, your work, and your personal peace. But if you focus on healing, you're setting yourself up for authentic joy, healthier connections, and emotional freedom. Your energy is sacred. Don't waste it fighting battles the universe has already taken charge of. Choose to invest it in yourself, your growth, and your journey toward emotional and spiritual wholeness. One of the most painful aspects of being betrayed, manipulated, or used is the internal dialogue that follows. Long after the person has left your life, you're left sitting with questions that tear you apart from the inside. Was I not good enough? Did I do something to deserve this? Was I too naive, too trusting, too easy to manipulate? These questions often lead you down a dark road of self-blame and self-doubt. But here's where Buddhism and spiritual teachings from masters like Shi Heng Yi offer you a liberating truth. What they did was never about you. It was always about them. People act based on their own internal state, their level of emotional maturity, their unresolved trauma, their insecurities, their greed, their need for control, or their lack of empathy. All these internal dysfunctions influence their external behavior. If they lied to you, it was because honesty isn't part of their character. If they betrayed you, it reflects their inability to commit or be loyal. If they manipulated you, it's a sign of their own inner emptiness and their need to control others to feel powerful. Their choices mirror their own unresolved issues, not your value as a human being. Buddhism teaches that everyone acts from their own level of consciousness. A person who is spiritually asleep will act out of fear, ego, greed, and ignorance. They don't have the awareness to see how their actions affect others. They live in survival mode, doing whatever it takes to satisfy their immediate desires, even if it means stepping on others in the process. You happened to cross paths with them, and unfortunately, you became a part of their karmic mess. But that's not your fault. Many times, people project their own inner conflicts onto others. They'll accuse you of things they're guilty of. They'll blame you for problems they created. They'll gaslight you into thinking you're the problem, just to avoid facing their own toxic behavior. This projection is a defense mechanism, a way for them to avoid looking in the mirror. But again, this doesn't mean there was something wrong with you. It simply means they weren't equipped to handle a relationship with someone genuine, kind, and emotionally available like you. This realization is both heartbreaking and freeing. It's heartbreaking because you realize you were never truly seen or appreciated for who you are. But it's freeing because you understand, at a deep spiritual level, that their behavior was never your responsibility to fix, prevent, or justify. You showed up with love, trust, and sincerity. You gave them a chance to experience a real, meaningful connection. They mishandled that gift, not because you weren't valuable, but because they didn't have the capacity to value anything real. That speaks volumes about their internal world. Buddhism encourages us to let go of attachment to outcomes and people who aren't aligned with our spiritual path. By recognizing that their actions reflect their own inner turmoil, you start to reclaim your self-worth. You stop taking their betrayal personally. You begin to understand that their mistreatment was a result of their own spiritual immaturity, not a measure of your worthiness. This understanding doesn't erase the pain, but it puts it into perspective. It allows you to release shame, guilt, and self-blame. It reminds you that your worth is inherent, untouched by how others choose to treat you. After enduring betrayal, heartbreak, manipulation, or emotional abuse, it may feel like all that remains is devastation. Your trust was broken, your heart was wounded, your peace was shattered, but here lies one of the most powerful truths in both Buddhism and spiritual philosophy. Every breakdown leads to a breakthrough. Every ending carries the seed of a new beginning. Every wound holds within it the doorway to awakening. Shi Heng Yi often speaks about how life's most painful moments are often the very triggers that ignite a spiritual awakening. What does this mean for you? It means that everything you went through, every sleepless night, every tear, every moment of self-doubt, was not without purpose. It was part of a larger spiritual plan to awaken you to your true self, to your inner power, and to the reality of the world around you. Before this betrayal, maybe you lived with certain illusions. Maybe you believed that everyone who smiles at you has good intentions. Perhaps you thought love alone could fix someone. Or maybe you were attached to people and situations that were never truly aligned with your soul's growth. Painful as it was, this experience shattered those illusions. It forced you to look deeper, to ask bigger questions. Who am I without this person? What do I truly deserve? What is real? Spiritual awakening doesn't happen when life is easy. It happens when you're pushed to your emotional limits, when you're cracked open so deeply that you have no choice but to rebuild yourself from the ground up. But this time with awareness, with clarity, with self, love, and with boundaries. You begin to realize that your happiness cannot be dependent on other people's actions or approval. You discover that peace comes from within, from detachment, from mindfulness, from being fully present in the moment, and from understanding the impermanent nature of all things. The emotional turmoil you experienced forces you to cultivate practices that bring you back to yourself. Meditation, self-reflection, breathwork, or simply moments of stillness where you reconnect with your own soul. This is not just recovery, this is transformation. You begin to see signs of your awakening. You start to feel gratitude for the small things again. You stop craving toxic attachments. Your intuition becomes sharper. You sense when people are lying, manipulating, or not in alignment with your energy. You start attracting better experiences, better people, and better opportunities. Most importantly, you develop emotional resilience. The things that once broke you now serve as reminders of how far you've come. Your spiritual muscles grow stronger. You become a living example of someone who was thrown into emotional chaos, but emerged wiser, calmer, and more grounded. In Buddhism, this kind of growth is seen as a sacred turning point on the path toward enlightenment. The experience that once felt like your undoing is, in reality, your awakening. You are no longer the same person who walked into that situation. You are more aware, more connected to your inner truth, and more in tune with the universe's flow. And here's the beauty of this transformation. While karma handles those who hurt you, your reward isn't in seeing them fall. Your reward is in your own spiritual rise. You become untouchable, not because life will never challenge you again, but because you've built an inner peace that external circumstances can no longer destroy. So, as you stand here today, stronger, wiser, and more awakened, remember this truth: you were never broken, only being rebuilt by the universe. They may have played you, they may have laughed at your pain, and they may have walked away thinking they won. But life is not blind, and the universe keeps perfect records. Karma is already at work, teaching them lessons that only life can teach. Your job now is not to look back in anger, but to look forward in peace. Continue to rise, continue to heal, continue to grow. Let their karma unfold naturally while you embrace the new chapter that's opening for you. A chapter filled with authenticity, love, and spiritual light. Stay patient, stay kind, and above all, stay true to your higher self. Thank you.